Good morning, folks. I pray that everybody's blessed, highly favored this morning. I'm thankful this morning for the grace of God that He bestowed upon my life and the mercy that He shown me. I just thank Him for His goodness this morning. We delved back into the last words of Paul to his young son in the faith, Timothy, and we spent the last few weeks talking about some words to live by, how Paul has given Timothy some advice and some direction as Paul's about to step out of this world and into glory. Uh, and we talked about some things. We talked about looking and how we need to be on the alert because of the apostasy and the apathy, the lack of authority we see in the world today. We talked about the lingering and how we need to hold fast and to be steady and to stay and not to leave the things of faith and to hang on. We talked about the need for the labor in this last week, and there is a need for labor that we would be workers and that we would perform that which God has left us on this earth to do. And this morning we're gonna take a look at the living. Paul said this. He said in verse 6 of chapter 4 of 2 Timothy, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith." Hey, can I tell you there's a living? We need to be living like godly, like we are children of God, that we are or that we are saved, and that we're living in a way that the world would know that there was something different about us. I look at the life of Paul and where he came from. Hey, we all got a past. We've all, and some of you've never gotten out and sinned and never gone that way. I praise the Lord for that. But I know that in my life there was, I want to long way from God for a long time. Even though I was saved, I turned my back on Him for a while, and I decided to live the way I wanted to live. And I regret that, and I hate that. But God uses it. I'll be honest with you. There's things in my life now that if I hadn't gone through that, I don't know that I would be where I am today, and I'm thankful. But Paul here, we see Paul. He said, "I fought a good fight." Hey, I heard one preacher say this. Somebody asked if he fought a good fight. He said, "I don't know about that, but I've been in a fight, and we've all been in a fight, and we've all been in a battle against this flesh and the lust of the eyes and the lust of the flesh and the pride of life. It's a battle. Those battles that we all face, uh, and we all are in a fight. But can I tell you, we have victory over these things through Jesus Christ. And if we'll give our life to Him and pursue the things of God and look and forsake this world and mortify our flesh, we can have the blessings of a life that can be an honor, a vessel of honor. I looked and uh, Paul wrote this. Uh, um, he said this, if a man, in verse 21 of verse 1, if a man therefore purge himself from these things, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared into every good work. Hey, there's a commitment in this thing, and we need to. Paul had committed and gave his life. I mean, uh, willing to be beaten, willing to go to prison, even willing to give up his life for the cause of Christ. And man, we're living in such a society where we don't have any backbone. We're not willing to go through these things. We're not willing to battle. We fold so easy. Hey, can I tell you, there's a life to live that we never. Paul said this. He said, "I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live." Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Hey, can I tell you, uh, we need to crucify our life for him and then the things of this world. And we have to provide for our family, and we have to make a living, and we do these things. But so many times we pursue the things of this world, and we neglect the things of God. Uh, Let us live uh, godly, you know. Let us live different. Let us dress different. Let us talk different. Let's everything about us ought to be different. We ought to stick out from this world. Uh, we ought to shun the things of this world. I was thinking this morning that I ain't even gonna go into the wickedness that we're seeing around us today, but we can still live a Christ-like life, and we can still be an example to those in our life. Hey, the world's looking for something real. The world's looking for something that they can grab hold of that'll give them hope, that'll give them peace. Because they don't, if they don't have Jesus, they don't have any peace. They don't have any hope. Uh, they're, they're struggling. I don't care what they say. They're struggling, and they need Jesus this morning. And sometimes we may be the only thing uh, that they see that's real. And let it be real in our hearts. Paul said, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Hey, are we living our lives acceptable to God this morning? Hey, Paul ended his life. He said, I fought a good fight. He said, I finished my course. He'd done what God had asked him to do. Hey, he'd done the things that God had asked him to do. He'd been faithful to those things, and yeah, he battled his flesh just like the rest of us, but he's been faithful, and he said, and I've kept the faith, and he's not wavered on the truth of who Jesus is. Hey, if you've got Jesus and you put your faith and trust in Him, there's no doubt in who He is. There's no doubt in His power. There's no doubt in His strength. There's no doubt in His guidance. He is able. Uh, Paul said, I'm persuaded that he's able to keep that which I've committed unto him. Hey, can I tell you, we serve a living God this morning. We serve a God that's able this morning. We serve a God that's willing this morning. We serve a God that cares this morning. Let us find ourselves living the life that God is, and God help me. I hope that someday, and I know, I look at myself and I judge myself this morning, that, oh, God help me that I'm not as faithful as I ought to be. Oh, Lord, help me that I'm not fighting and living like I ought to be all the time, Lord. There's things in my life. Oh, God, there's things in my life. Forgive me, Lord. And I confess before this morning that I'm, I'm unworthy this morning, Lord, to even call on the name of Christ, much less be called by the name of Christ. Oh, but can I tell you that He's rich in mercy and grace this morning. And I just want to be found, Lord, at the end of my days, when it's all said and done, when I leave this world by death, if that's the way I go, that, that they'll be able to stand up and say that Brother Brad loved the Lord, and Brother Brad was faithful, and Brother Brad was uh, fought a good fight, that I kept the faith, that I finished my course, and I just want to be found that way in that last day. God bless you. This is Brother Brad. Occupy till He comes.